season 2 of community storytelling. I'm Lissa Kreisler, and we want to thank Linda Lester, who makes this show possible in Leicester Square. And these gorgeous canvases on the set are from Gatos Art House in Los Gatos. So thank you to everybody. And I want to say thank you to my first guest. You may know him. Actually, you know what? I think people who are new to Los Gatos may not know this man, but if you've been in Los Gatos and Montecito for any length of time, you know him, and maybe you know him as Mr. Los Gatos, John Lochner. Hi, John.
Good afternoon.
I am just so honored to meet you because you are everything Los Gatos.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no, don't you be humble all of a sudden.
No.
You were mayor.
Yes.
What years?
1975 and 1980.
2 terms.
Yes.
And isn't that kind of unusual now?
No.
Everybody's 2 terms?
Well, usually, you run for office and you're elected for 4 years. And during that period of time, you're usually mayor once.
Yes.
And then if you run for re-election, generally you're re-elected again.
And then you're involved in the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
You're involved in my favorite railroad, the Billy Jones Wildcat Railroad at Lake Vasona.
Oh, yeah, at least 30 years.
Oh, my gosh. How many times do you think you've ridden that railroad?
Oh, God. Well, I've ridden it. I've never been an engineer. They wouldn't trust me in running that, believe me. But, I've been involved in it for many years, and it's just a wonderful thing.
It is.
The railroad is the highest volume of youth employees in the country.
Really?
Yes.
That I did not know.
Yes. These are high school students that are employees of the railroad, and they've set a record.
And I bet you that most of them started just riding the trains when they were a little one.
Little kids.
And then never leave.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
That's sweet.
Years and years ago when my kids, I have 5 children, and we'd hear on Sunday morning, hear the railroad, the whistle blowing, and say, Daddy, Daddy, can we go to Billy Jones? This is when he was on Dave's Avenue.
Yes.
And so we would go over there, and Billy would have it all set up and running the train, and he'd have a glass jar that you put donations in. They didn't charge anything. And he donated every penny that came in there to his favorite charities in the community. And then they had a fire. The station house burned, the car barn.
Yeah.
And so I was working as a carpenter at that time. And the contractor that I worked for, there are actually 3 contractors in town that got together, and we spent about 4 weekends, all volunteers, over there rebuilding it. So that was my first involvement with Billy Jones.
And when you rebuilt it, did you move it over to the park?
No, it didn't move over until the 70s. Then after Billy passed, Billy closed the railroad and so on. And then a group of people in the community got together and decided this is worth saving.
Oh, you bet it's worth saving.
Oh yeah, it's a gem.
It is.
And it has has 2 steam engines. One of them is a relatively new steam engine, and that it's the number 5.
Oh,
and
wow.
They go by numbers.
Yeah.
And we have 3 diesel engines, but all the cars were all built by volunteers as well. In addition to that, we have the beautiful carousel, which is just a remarkable piece of equipment. All these require maintenance, as you know, and there's a Tuesday crew that come down every Tuesday and work, the volunteers, and they maintain all of this equipment.
Oh, we've got to get some of them on.
Oh,
we've
yes.
got to get, because they've got stories to tell as well.
There's some wonderful stories to tell.
Yes.
Yes.
And you, is it still, how much is it now to ride the train, the railroad?
$2.
It was you guys need to raise that. It's been $2 forever.
Yeah.
Since my kids were little.
Well, with the carousel now, we've just adopted you can adopt a horse.
Oh,
and I adopted a horse, and it's my horse for a year, and for $100.
For $100.
Yeah. And but if you want to bring your family there, you can spend $250 and have your horse. They're all named, but it would be your horse for the year.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Another little fundraising thing.
Hey, my life outside of here is all about fundraising, so I love hearing these stories. That's wonderful. And you have been, I think, president of the Lions Club. I know you're still on the board, and we will talk about the Lions Club.
Yeah.
And we're going to start right now because I think it has been the pet. Has it been the pet project of the Lions Club for the Veterans Memorial that is being established in Los Gatos?
Well, no, it actually was started by Mike Frangadakis, who was one of your guests.
Yes.
A short while ago. He came up with the idea and presented it to the Rotary Club. And actually the president of the Rotary Club, Steve Rice, said, you know, how come we don't have a Veterans Memorial in Los Gatos?
Good question.
And so Mike said, well, you know, I don't know. We just never done it. So we put together a group of people, and I got involved about a year after it was organized. It started in 2012. So about a year later, I got involved in it. And so we've been in the process of trying to put together a Veterans Memorial.
So 6 years later, where are we?
Well, we're at a stage right now where we have a contractor, DevCon, who's a huge contractor.
Yes.
And Gary Filizetti is the president, and he lives in Los Gatos. And the project manager is Joe Crummett. He lives in Los Gatos. And we have other contractors involved in it that live in Los Gatos, you know, such as the Central Concrete, the Albanese family, and so on. So we have a lot of Los Gatos people involved in the construction of this.
It's still going to be at the Civic Center?
It's going to be on the front of the Civic Center in the grove of redwood trees.
Yes.
To the right, just in front of the museum. And it won't shield the museum. You'll still be able to see the museum and get access to the museum. But it's going to be, we think, a world-class monument dedicated to honoring all those veterans from all the wars.
Yes.
And it's, yeah, we're so excited about it. In addition to the honoring the veterans, we're also, we have one section where we're honoring the first responders.
Wonderful.
The police and fire departments. And the main headline of that is the fire bell. We're bringing the fire bell back. It currently sits on the sidewalk up on Tate Avenue. Used to be in the town plaza. We had it in the town plaza for 15 years. That was another project of mine.
Yeah, of course.
That they worked on. We raised about $40,000, and we built a structure in the plaza, and it rang. We had it in the plaza for 15 years, and then the town council at one point thought they'd like to see more open space in the plaza, so it was taken down. And it was promised to be put somewhere.
And it's going to get a great new home.
So that's going to be, yes, that'll be the main part of the first responders.
So how much money do you need to raise for this?
Our goal is to raise $1.5 million.
And have you already started?
The construction, oh yeah, we've been working on it. As a matter of fact, this afternoon I have 2 meetings of finance fundraising committees, 2 separate committees that are involved with this. But our goal is to raise $1.5 million. The construction is estimated to cost about $1.1 million. And the balance of the funds will go towards our programs, our veterans programs. We have a yellow ribbon program, and we support veterans and their families through, you've heard of the Ronald McDonald House in Palo Alto. Well, we support that. We have our own place there as well. So the funds will go towards helping veterans and their families.
Now, how can families give? What's the easiest way? And are you going to be listing names of veterans?
Yes.
From Los Gatos? Your name will be on there.
Well, one of the ways of fundraising is going out and just begging people for money. And we
don't usually use the word begging, but okay.
No. Well,
but that's what it is.
Once they understand it, you know, and realize what it's about and how much this means to veterans.
So will you be listing names?
Yes, we will be.
And I said your name will be on there because weren't you in the Korean War?
We have major contributions from $10,000 on up that will have their individual names or families, however they want to put that.
All right.
The other way of doing it is to buy pavers. We will have pavers on the side through the sidewalks, and the pavers, the prices start at $500 up to $2,500, depending on the size of the paver that you want.
And how do people go about doing this?
You'll be able to do it on our website. Our website is www.honoravet, all one word, honораvet.org. And this will be on the website to look at the pavers. There are sketches of the pavers, ideas of what, give you some ideas of what you may not know what to put on.
Sure.
So it'll give you some ideas about that.
And was I right in saying you were in the Army and in the Korean War?
I was in the Army in 1951 to 52. I was drafted, and this was during the Korean War. And my outfit was split in half. Half of them went to Germany, and half went to Korea. I was fortunate.
Thank
I
you.
spent a year in Germany.
Yeah.
This was during the time of the Russian, or the Berlin airlift, and the Russians were making a mess.
Well, thank you for your
and
service.
President Truman
yes.
said we need to send more troops over there. So
remember that from my U.S. history days.
Yes.
But
yes.
thank you for your service.
Well, you're very welcome.
So
it was a highlight of my life.
I bet it was. I bet it
Yes.
was. Other than having 5 children, and how many grandchildren do you
5.
have? How many grandchildren?
5 grandchildren.
5 grandchildren. Oh,
And
okay.
5
Was it one apiece?
No, no. We have one that has, a couple of them have 2,
Yeah.
and a couple have none.
So that happens.
Yes.
That
Oh,
always
yeah.
happens.
Yes.
But thank God for the ones who do.
Oh, you bet. You bet. They're wonderful, wonderful. Well, great. Just a pleasure to have around.
You know, I want to mention the Lions Club because I know how involved you are. And one of my favorite things that the Lions Club does, and you've done it all my lifetime that I've known at least, you donate glasses, you collect glasses, and you give them to people in need.
Yes.
Or organizations
Yes.
that will distribute them.
Yeah.
That is just such a great thing.
Yeah, the program is called Lions in Sight,
Yeah.
and it's headquartered in Vallejo. And so any eyeglasses that we collect, we have most of the sight places in town, like Sight for Sore Eyes and so on. They all save glasses. People bring in their glasses and leave them. We collect them from them. And about 2 years ago, my son and I came up with the idea of, he's also a Lion, and came up with the idea of having a collection spot for them. And the ideal thing is to have a mailbox.
Yeah.
You know, the postal boxes that you
Yes.
see. Well, we acquired one of those through a long, drawn-out process, and we had it repainted, and it's in the town plaza in the bus depot of the town plaza, and we collect glasses, and people contribute. It's amazing. Last year we collected over 1,000 pair of eyeglasses in there, and during the holidays last year, the Thanksgiving holidays, there were a group of 12, some Lions, some physicians, ophthalmologists that went to Nicaragua.
Wow.
And they went to the schools there, and they were there 5 days, and they dispensed over 4,500 pair of eyeglasses to the students and
How wonderful is
and the
that?
people in need. So it's a worthy cause.
It certainly is.
Yeah. Yes.
Going to look for that red mailbox.
Yes.
Yes. Now, so when you were mayor back in the 70s or on the town council, what was the big issue then?
Well, one of the big issues was growth.
Back then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Back then, at that time, the town was the ordinances allowed for development of the hills, and it was estimated that Los Gatos could have a population of up to 90,000 people. And we said, wait a minute, this is not right. And so we went to work putting together a new plan, a hillside plan, working with the county and so on, so that these areas that would develop would annex to the town. Annexing is another story I have to tell you about. But anyway, we put together a plan, and as you see, homes develop on the hillside.
Yes.
It's not the density that it would have been had we not taken those measures. The other thing was, it's an organization called LAFCO, Local Agency Formation Commission.
Are they still around?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
I used to report on them, but that was years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was the town's representative on LAFCO, and the county. It's a county agency, and I was also involved as the county representative on state LAFCO, and we met quite often. And one of the things that we put together was a new annexation program. allowing communities to annex properties that may have been landlocked, within the town limits, but they belong to the county, as an example. And so we were able to put together a program, and the legislature passed it. I was fortunate to go to Sacramento a couple times and try to push this through, and it was adopted by legislation, and it allowed the town to annex, and they immediately went to inaction here in town, and within a year and a half or 2 years, annexed about 29 different sections of property. Some may be only 1 or 2 dwellings, other ones whole blocks and so on. Some of them you would require a vote. And as an example, Blossom Hill Manor.
Yes.
That's large enough that would require a vote. Well, we knew the people in Blossom Hill Manor did not want to be annexed to Los Gatos. They were happy getting our services going through there, in the sheriff's department, providing the police services. They were afraid we were going to put in curbs and sidewalks and gutters, which we knew, unless they wanted to pay for it, that's the only way it would go in.
Yeah.
So anyway, areas like that were not annexed.
Okay.
But still, when properties border the town and they want to develop it, remodel or so on, they're required to annex to the town. So that was all part of this.
Did you ever think back in the 70s that you would have these traffic problems that we do now?
Well, I've got some pictures. As a matter of fact, if you look in Dr. Bruntz's book on the history of Los Gatos, he's got a picture there in 1953 of the traffic all backed up on Santa Cruz Avenue.
Really?
Because they can't get on. It wasn't Highway 17 then.
No.
This was before the
oh, wow.
before the dam was built and before the road was changed and so on. But it's an interesting picture.
Any other premonitions you had that came true?
No.
And do you ever wake up in the morning and say, if I were mayor right now, we'd be doing this or we'd be doing that?
No, it's easy to sit back and second guess,
isn't it?
But unless you're really involved in something like the North 40 as an example,
yes.
the months and the years that were involved, that the committees in the town were involved in it, it's just it makes you wonder how much time these volunteers spend for this to make the community what it is.
Yes.
And we're so thankful that we have volunteers, here and ready and capable to support and work for the programs for the community.
What do you do when you're not doing for Los Gatos? What do you do for the Lochner family for fun?
Well,
you've got grandchildren, and you've been married, how many years?
It'll be 67 years.
And you've been living here for over 60 years.
We moved here in 1954.
That's amazing.
And in 1960, we moved into the house that we're living in right now.
Wow.
So, my leisure is going out to dinners.
Yeah, what's your favorite place? Can I ask?
My son loves to cook.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of cooking.
So your favorite place is at home?
We're not doing much traveling now. We love to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's just
which island?
That's the wonderful, wonderful place. So.
Which island in Hawaii?
Yeah, but years ago we used to ski a lot.
Okay.
Snow skiing, and the water sports.
Yeah.
We had a sailboat.
Yeah.
And we did the water sports, and I learned to scuba dive in Hawaii, and I learned to fly a plane here, and then I was elected to the town council, and I had to give up some of these things.
The fun, yes.
The fun
for
things.
For different fun.
Yes, yeah. But life has just been wonderful.
Yeah, you walk around town a lot. Might we see you walking around town?
No, I don't walk around. My wife does.
All right.
She walks almost every day. She's walking around town, and she, that keeps her going. She's just a wonderful, wonderful wife.
I need to call you Mr. Los Gatos. You have done so much for this town, and continue. You're supposed to be enjoying life every day, and
do.
You're still. It sounds
That's
like
my
it.
enjoyment.
But yes, your volunteering is amazing.
It's my enjoyment. Yes.
Yes. And so, when are we having a big to-do at the memorial, the Veterans Memorial, before we say goodbye?
The plans call for the dedication, the unveiling.
Yes.
And dedicating the memorial to the veterans on November the 10th of 2018.
That's this year, a few months.
This year. The flame, the main structure
yes.
That has been ordered. Inside of the flame is what's called a soldier's cross. Soldier's cross is the boots, the rifle, and the helmet on top. That goes inside of the flame, and this will all be lit up at night. It's just going to be so dramatic, and that has been ordered. It'll be delivered next week to the artist that's in Memphis, Tennessee, that is doing the flame.
Wow.
The Flame of Liberty, it's called.
It's going to be breathtaking.
It really is. We're so
And
excited about it. The contractor indicates that they estimate the construction will take about 2 months. So hopefully within another month or so, we will have the final permits and so on and be ready to start construction on it. So yes, we're excited.
You are leaving quite a legacy in this town. You really are.
There's a lot of people involved, believe me.
Yes.
Just wonderful people.
But I'm sitting here and talking and thinking about everything you do for this town. You are amazing. You're wonderful. You're wonderful. I'm honored to have you sitting next to me.
It's been wonderful.
And I promise you, KCAT will be there November 10th.
You better be.
In fact, I'll show up too.
Okay. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's a date.
Yes.
It's a date.
Well, and don't forget the Christmas parade and all the good
everything.
The things that go on in town. Yes.
John Lochner, how many stories has he just told us? And he has stories. You have stories? I bet you do. Community storytelling, it's wonderful, and we all love to share and hear, and you can nominate yourself or somebody like John at KCAT, kcat.org. It's very easy to do, takes 3-4 minutes. And as always, I'm so happy that you're with us, and thank you. Thank you for watching us on KCAT TV 15.